Well, students, today we start the revision of the chapter Nationalism in India, Class 10 History. In India, the growth of modern nationalism is intimately connected to the anti colonial movement. The history of nationalism in India may be traced from the establishment of Indian National Congress in 1885. In the first 2-3 decades, it was dominated by moderate leaders. When the First World War broke out in 1914, as India was a colony of Great Britain, she was automatically dragged into it with the declaration of war by Great Britain against Germany. During the war, the Congress decided to help the British government as it had declared that it was fighting to make the world safe for democracy. The Congress therefore hoped that probably India would be granted some sort of a self government after the war. However, the wave of nationalism during this period led to certain developments, the most important being the launching of Home Rule movement in 1915 by Smt Annie Besant and Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Tilak gave the slogan, Swaraj is my birthright and I will have it. During the war, the economic situation became grim. Through the war years, prices doubled, leading to extreme hardship for the common people. The war led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and increasing taxes. Crop failure in many parts of India resulted in acute shortage of food. Millions of people perished as a result of famines and the epidemic. People hoped that their hardships would end after the war was over, but that did not happen. The hopes of the nationalists also shattered after the war, and certain developments that followed changed the whole political scenario. Children, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi had gone to South Africa in connection with some legal case, from where he returned to India in 1915. His philosophy was based on Satyagraha, based on the two strong pillars of Satya means truth and Ahimsa means non-violence. The idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth and the need to search for truth. It suggested that if the cause was true and the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressor. Without seeking vengeance or being aggressive, a Satyagrahi could win the battle through non violence. According to this philosophy, the Satyagrahi had to be truthful and non violent during the course of struggle. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movements in various places. In the year 1916, he traveled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. Then, in again 1917, he organized a satyagraha to support the peasants of the Kheda district of Gujarat, affected by crop failure and a plague epidemic. The peasants of Kheda could not pay the revenue and were demanding that revenue collection be relaxed or reduced. In 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize a satyagraha movement among cotton mill workers. By means of these movements, Gandhiji tested successfully his weapons of truth and nonviolence or satyagraha. However, it was the Rowlatt Act which brought him to the mainstream of Indian politics and the freedom struggle of India. From here onwards, the nationalist movement and the freedom struggle of India was guided totally by Gandhi's efforts. Hence, this period of modern Indian history is known as Gandhian era. The British government passed the infamous Rowlatt Act in the year 1919 with a view to curb the activities of the nationalists and curtail their liberties. Anybody could be imprisoned without assigning any reason whatsoever. Along with other nationalists, Gandhiji was also aroused by the Rowlatt Act. In February 1919, he founded the Satyagraha Sabha, whose members took a pledge to disobey the act and thus to court arrest and imprisonment. Satyagraha raised the movement to a new higher level. Gandhiji increasingly turned the face of nationalism towards the common man, and the symbol of this transformation was to be khadi or hand spun and hand woven clothes, which soon became the uniform of the nationalists. Jallianwala Bagh massacre. March and April 1919 witnessed a remarkable political awakening in India. There were hartals, strikes, and demonstrations. The entire country was electrified. The government was equally determined to suppress the mass agitation. It repeatedly lathi charged unarmed demonstrators and even fired at them at Bombay, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Delhi, and other cities. Gandhiji gave a call for a mighty Hartal on 6th April 1919, to which people responded with unprecedented enthusiasm. The government decided to meet the popular protest with repression, particularly in the Punjab. The arrest of two leaders, Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu and Dr. Satyapal, in Amritsar on April 10th led to a mass agitation. An unarmed but large crowd gathered on 13th April 1919 at the Jallianwala Bagh of Amritsar to protest against the arrest of their popular leaders. General Dyer, the military commander of Amritsar, decided to terrorize the people of Amritsar into complete submission. He ordered his men to shoot into the trapped unarmed crowd with rifles and machine guns till their ammunition was exhausted. After this, martial law was proclaimed throughout the Punjab, and the people were subjected to most uncivilized atrocities. A wave of horror ran through the country as the knowledge of the Punjab happening spread. Gandhiji's faith in British sense of justice and fair play was completely shaken. Instead of cooperating with the government, he now started the non-cooperation movement against it. The Khilafat and non-cooperation movement. The Khilafat movement infused a new element into the nationalist movement. The Lucknow Pact or the Congress League Pact of 1916 had already prepared the ground for common political action. The Rowlatt Act brought Hindus and Muslims together as it had touched all the Indians alike. The Khilafat movement owed its origin to the treatment meted out to the Turkish Empire in May 1920. This was in violation of the pledge of British Premier Lloyd George made during the First World War. The undermining of the power and position of the Sultan of Turkey, who was also regarded as the Caliph or the religious head of the Muslims, was not liked by the Muslims in general. A Khilafat committee was soon formed under the leadership of Maulana Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali, popularly known as Ali Brothers, and a countrywide agitation was organized. Gandhiji was sympathetic to their cause as he considered the British Act as a breach of faith. But at the same time, he also looked upon the Khilafat agitation as a golden opportunity of uniting Hindus and Mohammedans and bringing the Muslim masses into the national movement. Gandhiji, in fact, very soon became one of the leaders of the Khilafat movement. Meanwhile, the government had refused to annul the Rowlatt Act or to make amends for the atrocities in the Punjab. It also did not do anything to satisfy the nationalist urge for self government. An all party conference held at Ahmedabad in June 1920 approved a program of boycott of schools, colleges, and law courts. The Khilafat Committee launched a non cooperation movement on 31st August 1920. The decision to defy in a most peaceful manner the government and its laws was endorsed by the Congress in its annual session held at Nagpur in 1920. On this occasion, Gandhiji declared, the British people will have to, however, that if they do not want to do justice, it will be the burden, it will be the bounden duty of every Indian to destroy the empire. Explaining the significance of non cooperation, Gandhiji in his book Hindu Swaraj in 1909 declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians and could survive only because of this cooperation. If Indians refused to cooperate with the British rule in India would collapse within a year and Swaraj would come. This convinced those Congress leaders also who were initially reluctant to accept the program of boycott. The program of non-cooperation movement was clearly started in the non-cooperation resolution. It involved the surrender of titles and honorary offices and resignation from nominated posts in the local bodies. Non-cooperators were to withdraw their children gradually from schools and colleges and establish national schools and colleges. They were to boycott gradually the British courts and establish private arbitration courts. Untouchability was to be removed as there could be no Swaraj without this reform. There was a constructive program also. The Satyagrahis were advised to wear clothes that made from khadi and could be prepared after spinning the threads on charkas and woven by Indian weavers on their handlooms. The non cooperation movement was carried on a non violently for nearly 2 years till an incident occurred at Chauri Chaura in Gorakhpur district in February 1922, where an infuriated mob burned down a police station which resulted in the death of 22 policemen. Gandhiji immediately suspended the movement, much to the disliking and criticism of a large number of Congress leaders. However, although the movement failed to achieve any of its objectives, its biggest achievement was that it succeeded in making the Congress movement a mass movement for the first time. The Swaraj Party. There were some leaders within the Congress who, from the beginning, did not believe in non cooperation and were now fed up with the mass struggles. They wanted to participate in the elections to the provincial council set up by the Government of India Act of 1919. The idea was to enter the legislatures in large numbers and carry on a policy of uniform, continuous, and consistent opposition to the government. They wanted to oppose the government from within and not from without. With this view, Pandit Motilal Nehru and C.R. Das formed the Swaraj Party. The Swaraj Party fought the elections of 1923 and did useful work in several provincial legislatures. It was able to get a resolution passed by which the government was requested to establish fully responsible government in India. The Swarajists resorted to walkouts as a mark of protest against various policies of the government. The boycotts they boycotted all receptions, parties, or functions organized by the government. Thus, they rendered a signal service to the country. The British autocracy and Indian bureaucracy stood exposed to the whole world. Thank you, children.